Hello to all you crazy people out there, and welcome back to Disney Speedstorm. I guess I'm going to be doing something a little different. For this one, I did some pre-recording of races, and I'm just going to kind of talk about my points while showing those races. That way I don't get distracted. Not too badly, anyway. So, what has it been, 3 days? I think it's been 3 days. 3 or 4 days. When did I start playing this? I can't even remember. I think I started playing it Saturday. It might have been Friday. It's been about 3 days, either way. So I'm coming back with some follow-up thoughts since my first impressions of the game. If anything has changed, if I feel a little better, if I feel a little worse about the game, kind of just let you know how I feel about it and if you should get it or not. And just to kind of skip to the end of that, I still think you can get it. Do I think you should pay for it in early access? Yes. For a different reason, not because it's the greatest thing ever and you should definitely get it now. It's because if you plan on playing this, I recommend getting it now and going into all the events to get all the tokens that you need to upgrade your racers. Because if you wait too long, you're going to start off far behind. I don't imagine that they're going to nuke progress when the game comes out, so everyone that has early access like me will be level 30s, level 40s even by the time this game comes out, I imagine. And then you'll come out level 1 and won't be able to compete too much, which you would think wouldn't be the biggest issue because multiplayer is segregated I won't say pretty well, it's okay. So it won't be the biggest problem, but you'll still be starting off too far behind in my opinion. But I think the first clip I'll have coming up is me playing ranked matches with Figment, which I did get Figment. I finished him in top 25%, I believe, because I think the top one was top 10%, so I finished in second one top 25% after a lot of trial and errors, pretty much. It's extremely random, and I hated that about it. No matter how consistent I was, I could do the same thing every single race and get a different time and yield different results because the computer AIs are also different. Not to mention it's completely random what kind of power up you're going to get, and that makes or breaks you quite harshly. So your skill is only one part of the factor, whereas there's like 3 other things that you cannot control, which is why my time was never consistent. But I did get it all the way down to I think 130 was my lowest time, which I was happy with. I was glad to get it all the way to top 25%. So the only thing I missed was 5 Figment tokens and his license plate, which I can go without the license plate. But I did at least get his spacesuit and 30 tokens, which has enabled me to get him to 2 stars right off the bat, which I am very happy about. But I guess we should kind of go along with what I have showing for the clips. So the first thing I kind of want to mention is the level difference in this game. I think, the level difference is definitely the biggest issue in this game. So the suggested leveling of this game isn't a recommendation, it's kind of mandatory. I say kind of, it's very much mandatory. The minimum level is kind of your minimal mandatory level requirements. Not really it's suggested that you be this level to kind of have a competitive leg up in the fight. It's not that at all. It's if you aren't this level, you're not winning this race. You may be able to do it with a 1 level discrepancy down. Maybe it's an extreme uphill battle, but it is doable. I've done it a few times, but being evenly leveled already hurts. Even being a higher level hurts. So the AI don't care about your levels is the point I'm trying to make here. That is, I guess I should go to my next point, even though I'm pretty sure my clips are going to stay talking about multiplayer, but I'm going to get back to multiplayer in a minute. Actually, no, I should probably go to multiplayer then talk about the AI, that way I keep all my clips kind of organized. So multiplayer level difference, huge difference. If you're like level 30 and you're battling or racing someone that's like level 1, you will blast them. That's what you expect to happen. But going back to the AI point, that's not going to happen with the AI. The AI apparently, and I knew this going into the game because the first review I seen about it that actually let me know that it's still early access and not already released. mentioned how the AI have a pretty bad programming feature where they will keep up with you regardless of the level difference until the very end of the race, where they kind of just decide if they want to slow down and let you pass them or not. If you're a lower level, they're not going to do that. If you're a higher level, then they'll kind of back off a little bit at the last few seconds of the race. The last few seconds, emphasis on that point, because up until that point, they're going to keep up with you no matter how much faster you are than them, which I think is insane. So the AI in this game definitely needs to be reprogrammed and redone, because what it's doing right now, I have jotted down as artificial challenging, which it's not a challenge. It's not skill based. It's the AI has some sort of, I guess they call it like a slingshot effect. But even then, it's not that, because if they're ahead of you, you're not catching up to them. Even the watch power or the time clock power up barely does anything when the AI has such a high level advantage with you. But if you have a high level advantage with them, it's complete opposite. They'll keep on slingshotting up to you and speed boosting up to you, despite your top speed being twice or more as much as theirs, which is dumb. But like I said, with multiplayer, that's not a thing. So your level difference does make a huge difference. As long as you're leveling up your racer in multiplayer, you will have the advantage. Speaking of leveling up, I also didn't notice this. Apparently, I don't know if it was like a trial period or something, but when I was playing Baloo, I noticed like for the entirety of the day, I never got his special, and I couldn't figure out why. Even when it was on multiplayer, it was on single player, events, all that kind of stuff, I never got his special power anymore. And then I went and played an event where it forced me to use Milan, and her power was coming almost every other power up, if not every power up. And then I looked at it as I was selecting Baloo again, and I noticed that his special power wasn't shown in his power loadout. So then I went in and looked at his power up descriptions, and it showed that his power up was locked. And I don't know when or why that happened. And then I looked at everybody else and noticed that theirs was locked too. So I was thinking maybe they gave me like a trial period of something with everyone's specials. So I looked at other people that were unlocked and noticed that they were 2-stars. So that was kind of an obvious point that you needed at least 2 stars to unlock their special power. Which again, I don't know when or why that happened. That's just kind of a point I wanted to make mention of. So if you want your special power, you have to at least get your racer unlocked to, or leveled up to 2 stars. That way they have their special unlocked, which is also why Mike Wazowski never summoned his doors. Sorry, my voice sounds a little meh. It's early morning, and I haven't really done anything yet, so my voice is a little rusty, rumbly. I don't know what you would call that. But, let's see, what else to talk about? Other points I made. I don't know where my clips would be at this point. I think I went from multiplayer to events. No, I went to the limited time Monster Inc. event. And that's where I wanted to go back to the AI point. So we already talked about the level difference with the AI. So I don't really need to talk about that anymore. But I guess kind of going back to something that happened with multiplayer. We'll talk about this is the bugs in the game. There are definitely bugs in this game. I don't know if it's like a server lag issue or what's going on with that. Aside from the freezing that happens every so often, there was there was a huge issue, a huge bug that happened in one of my multiplayer matches. I was playing as Baloo, and the game was going through all the players and showing like their player tags and their character animations, like at the start of every race that it does. And then everybody started moving. Everyone was racing, and I was still going through the player ID stuff, and I'm like, what's happening? What's going on? And then it skipped to me, and then I was just sitting there. I'm like, what the heck? So I pressed the gas, and I'm going. Actually, I tried to press it a little bit sooner when I saw everybody else moving, and it wouldn't let me move. So then it went through the music, the intro music, and then it was complete silence for the entirety of that race because it bugged out and had everybody else go before me while I was still going through the, whatever you want to call it, the racer previews. So I got a late start, silent gameplay, and I think I finished in like 7 out of 8 because I could not catch up to anybody. I think I was like level, I can't remember what level Blue was in that race. I think he was level 30, but he's high up in the NPR that I'm fighting other, racing against other level 30s and high 20s. So that wasn't really a factor. It was just skill at that point. And if everybody plays perfectly, I'm not catching up to them. I think it gave me a stopwatch once. Oh wait, I think I finished at level, or like 3 or 4 position because I got a stopwatch. Or whatever you want to call that power up. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, that was a very bad bug that happened. Another bug that happened, I think I got stuck somewhere. I can't remember what that was. This happened yesterday, and I can't remember. I didn't jot down notes or anything for it. But yeah, I definitely got stuck somewhere, and it teleported me back into the race somewhere, and I lost because of that, I think. What else we need to talk about? Pros on the jungle. Oh yeah, that's what I just talked about. They are stupid. We talked about that, the level difference, and how they slingshot to you. The AI really needs to be reworked because the artificial challenging is not a good thing in my opinion. Oh yeah, I have Blue is best. So the first video I watched mentioned how Jungle Book, no one is really good from there, and the best person to use is Mike Wazowski, which Mike still might be the best in the game, but I'd argue Baloo is just as good. He probably isn't as favorable as Mike just because his special does help other people, and if you're in a losing position, you can end up staying in a losing position because everyone can snipe your fruit before you get to them. So if Baloo's in the back end, it's hard for him to catch up, even though his defender trait does help him because defenders get a greater boost from trailing behind other people than other classes. So Baloo has that going for him, and because he's defender, he gets a lot of defensive power-ups. But if you're in first with Baloo, you always get access to your fruit because there's no one else ahead of you to snipe them. Of course, whoever's in second can also grab the fruit and stay up with you relatively easily. But the point is, when Baloo's in first, he has the skills to stay in first, which I think is, I don't think any other defender has that. So he's at least the best defender in the game, bar none, in my opinion. Goofy is probably second best, but Baloo is first. Goofy's only his nitro fuel boost does help him, but since it's also meant to hurt other people, it's the boost is minor. And the first one where he loses control of his cart actually makes him slower than if he was just normally racing. That was only good if you're in a crowd and you want to stun a bunch of people, but you can't boost while you're in that state, so it hurts you more than it helps you in some cases. But like I said, with Baloo, that's not an issue. And if you really want to use the first uncharged version of Baloo's special, it helps too, the stunning, and makes you invulnerable, especially after you star him up a good bit, and you'll have longer times with all this stuff. That's going to be really good. The only thing with Mike, like I said, is his special doesn't help anyone other than him. If anyone else goes to the door, they're getting sent back. And I can't remember if it was a multiplayer or a single player where this happened, but I actually accidentally ran into one of Mike's doors, and it kept sending me back and back and back, and it was horrible. I just kept watching myself go all the way from second to 8th, and I was still going back, and I'm like, oh my god, I think I just lost the race because I hit one door. So I think I managed to catch back up to like 3rd or something, but I definitely didn't finish it first. That door of Mike's is game changing, either to your benefit or to your extreme detriment. There's no in between with that. So that's why I think Mike is probably still the best in the game. Because if you hit that door and you're not him, you might as well just kiss the game goodbye. Because that is over. And Blue, like I said, it actually helps other people. So, but he's at least the best defender in the game. So I guess I could talk about that, the different classes and who I think are the best in the game. Defender, Blue, Speedster, Mike, Brawler. It has to be Donald. It's definitely Donald. Like, Sully isn't as bad as the video I watched said he was. He's definitely pretty rough, because once he loses speed, it takes him forever to regain it. as opposed to Donald, who at least has acceleration. But the thing about Donald is his special is defensive as well. So he can use his special defensively and just hold it. Just sit there and sit pretty. And everybody tries to challenge him, he becomes invulnerable and punches anyone in the area. As opposed to Sully, who's only good in a crowd. He has nothing to keep his advantage. So if he's in the lead, fine, but other people can still catch him because he has really nothing to kind of hold that lead. He has the flame trail and I think the saucer. But if he's those, and people can avoid those, and if he's like, I guess if you're really that far ahead, but it's the point is like there's nothing to like help him really hold that lead. As opposed to Donald, which he can shield himself, so if anything comes after him, he's fine. And he has the boost from his rage boost. The other brawlers are Hercules. Hercules is actually pretty good because his Pegasus keeps him in the lead, and if he ever finds himself with someone else catching up, he can use the offensive version of Pegasus where it hurts anybody else that tries to come in it. But his regular version of it makes him vulnerable for a period, and it lasts longer, so he has a greater speed boost. So Hercules might actually be better than Donald for, well, I guess it depends on your taste. Do you want to be defensive or do you want to be speedy? Because Donald is defensive. He doesn't have anything that's going to keep him. I guess he has a, I think he has a speed boost. I should look at this while I'm kind of rambling on. Does Donald have access to speed? There it is. Yes, see it. Well, he has access to the nitro fuel refill thing. So he can refill his nitro fuel and be fine. He has 2 defensive skills, the ghost and his own special. He has 1 speed skill and then 2 offensive skills. Or I guess 3 including his own special. So Donald is pretty good. The other brawler I said was Hercules. I think there's another brawler. I thought there was one other brawler. Oh yeah, Beast, but I don't know how he races. Because I haven't unlocked him yet. I assume he was unlockable at the start of the game and I missed it. Him and Belle, because I don't have either of them. Also, didn't know that Belle was epic. No wonder she's so good. I knew her special seemed to be far better than a common. It's like really disruptive. Belle's special is devastating, I guess if she's in the lead, because she just sets up walls with her furniture, and if you hit that, well, it's a stun. So I don't know how Beast is, so I can't comment on him. I can kind of give an opinion, but I can't comment on him. So, but my opinion still stays the same. I think the best brawler is Donald. So you will need one of every class and one of every book leveled up to do this game because of the events that they have in it. So that's kind of why I'm going through the list and kind of giving my own suggestions on it. So just to reiterate, the first 2 I think I said, 3. Blue Defender, Michael Zalke Speedster, and Donald Brawler. So then you need a Trickster. And by far the best Trickster so far to me is the Dragon. So far. The second best, or even tied for first, could be Mulan. Because she has a way to keep her advantage with her special, because she can send her cannon backwards, which it has a pretty good range on it. I don't know how it exactly works. I never could figure out how to look backwards into the camera to see what it's doing. But I do know there are plenty of times where I've sent it backwards and just gone about my way. Then like 5 or 10 seconds later, it hits somebody else. So I don't know what the heck is happening with that thing. But yeah, she has a way of keeping her advantage. The Dragon doesn't. Like, if he's within the pack, his special will keep him in the front of that pack because it keeps giving him a speed boost. But if he's like super far ahead, I guess at that point you're set anyway. But if he is super far ahead, there's nothing he can do to really like make sure he stays there. If someone's able to catch up to him, they'll catch up to him. But as long as he has a special, he'll at least stay in first. So he has a theoretical way of staying in the lead, but not really a I'm going to make sure you never see me again kind of lead, which is how I would rank someone higher than others. That's why Baloo has a way of you'll never see me again with his fruit. Mike Wazowski with his doors, you'll never see me again. Donald has a It's not really a you'll never see me again, but it's a I'm going to keep the lead forever with defensive attributes, and if you try to pass me, I'm going to murder you. So that's what Donald's all about. Hercules has a you'll never see me again kind of boosting with Pegasus. So by that logic, I should rank him above with Donald. So I guess I'll give Hercules the point over Donald because he can stay very far ahead with Pegasus. So we'll rank him above Donald. Oh yeah, Megara is the other trickster. Yeah, I would rank her below. So I would rank her third in trickster ranking. And I think that's all of the classes. It's defense, speed, brawler, and trickster. And those are the 4. So as far as each book goes, I think it's universally agreed that Donald is the best from Mickey and Friends. Personally, I like Goofy more, so I'm going to use him over Donald. But Donald is probably the best, but I'm going to use Goofy anyway. Out of these two, I don't know how Elizabeth works. I say these two. You can't see my screen. I forgot because I have clips playing. I guess I can't. No, because I'm not recording, so I can't even add in clips of this later. Yeah, Elizabeth is better than Jack because she has that trail that she leaves behind that if you run into it, you're shot sideways. So it disrupts your racing, and she just gets to do whatever she wants. From Hercules, obviously Hercules is best. From Jungle Book, I still argue that Blue is the best. He's at least the second best in the game in my opinion. Maybe third because Figment is out now. So maybe Figment beats Blue. No, like I said, Blue has a way of never see me again attribute. So he's at least second best in the game in my opinion. I don't know how Mowgli's wolves work. Okay, so the charged version is the stun only, and the uncharged version refuels your natural fuel and stuns if people hit it. So it kind of depends on what you want to do. Do you want to refill your natural fuel or do you want to stun? But I guess both of them stun, so I don't understand why you would ever use the charged version. But that's irrelevant. Jungle Book is Blue. For Mulan, definitely. Shang has a way to make himself invulnerable, so that he has that going for him. But that's defender traits. Mulan, like I said, she has that a way to keep the lead, so that's why she's better in my opinion. Monsters, obviously Mike because they never see me again, and Walt Disney only has Figment right now, so obviously Figment. Out of Beauty and the Beast, I'm assuming Belle is better. I think she's a speedster. Yeah, she's a speedster. And like I said, her special is very disruptive. I know Beast special is supposed to be like he roars 3 times and then he only gets roar for the rest of the game. Each roar gives him a speed boost, so theoretically he can be a never see me again type. But that's also banking on the fact that you get his special enough times to trigger that. Whereas Belle, I don't think she needs her special plus Beasters. I guess we should also talk about the difference in classes. I mentioned how Defender Blue, if he's trailing behind you, he gets more nitro fuel boost than other people, so it feels faster. Speedsters get their nitro boost whenever they go over speed pad. Brawlers get their boost whenever they're hurting people, so whenever they offensively stun someone or hit anyone with their skills, then they're getting nitro fuel. And tricksters get their speed boost by drifting. So if you want to drift a lot, tricksters are your thing. If you feel like you'll be trailing behind people and kind of want to stay safe, defenders are your thing. If you want to be offensive and wreck everyone's day, brawler. And if you want to stay ahead and just make sure you don't deal with anybody, then speedster. Which is also why Mike is really good at keeping the lead, which is why he's probably definitely number 1. Because if he keeps eating speed pads, he's just going to stay in the front forever, and his doors just help with that even more. But that's also why I like Figment, because he can just kind of drift and stay ahead because his speed boost refills super fast. Let me see, what other points do we need to make? Let's see, we talked about the bugs, we talked about how bad the AI is. Voice acting, because I mentioned how it was a little meh in my first impressions. It kind of grows on you. It definitely works. I know Goofy and Donald sound like they should. Hercules sounds alright. Megara kind of takes some getting used to. I'm still getting used to Baloo. The lines he says definitely sounds like what Baloo would say. It's just the voice actor that they have for him isn't what I expect for Baloo. It needs to be a little deeper, in my opinion, just slightly. Not incredibly so, just a little bit. Mike sounds alright. Sully is debatable. Since Figment never had a voice to begin with, he's fine. Mulan takes a little getting used to. I haven't heard Shang yet. Megara, I think I said she sounds alright. Jack takes a little getting used to, and Mickey, I will never get used to his voice. I don't like his voice at all. So voice acting kind of grows on you over time. It just takes a little getting used to. Matches are too random. That's the other point I have. So I briefly talked about that. That was when I was talking about how Figment event was completely inconsistent. It didn't matter how well you did or didn't do. Yeah, but I guess that's kind of expected with racing games with power-ups. So, I guess that's kind of a moot point, but also it's pretty bad if you ask me. I don't know. That's only an issue because I guess that's kind of brings me to my next point, the limited time events. In the limited events, they're timed, so you only have a certain amount of time to get all the items from them. But then some of them also have limited tries with them, which I have marked down as dumb. And I am going to say it is dumb. If it's already a timed event, you don't need to limit how many times you can try the event. Just let the player keep trying at their own leisure to try to get the items when they can. Let them go through trial and error to see what works and what doesn't work. And especially with this one, because you have the level problem, so let them see how high of a level they need to be to complete the challenge. So like it says recommended level 18, but you're level 10, so you just want to see how well you do as a level 10, and you find out you get destroyed. Well, if it's something that has limited tries with it, you just lost a try. And you can't quit the challenge early to keep your try, because as soon as you go into it, your try is gone. So they don't need limited tries, and I hope that I would like to ask that when they release the game, they don't keep that, but I'm a lowly 100 subscriber YouTuber, so I doubt they're listening to me. But if other people voice their same opinions on that matter, then maybe. But like I said, the events are fine. I just don't like how they have limited tries on the limited time events. That's just too much. So I would rather they leave it to where you can kind of go through trial and error and keep doing your best to see how well you do in each of the things, rather than, well, if I mess up, then I'm just out of a try. Especially if it's something like where you have to win 3 times and it only gives you 3 attempts. Well, then if you lose your first try because you were trying something out, then you're already lost that challenge. So you have to wait a day to try it again. And if you keep losing, well, at that point it's your fault, but you still shouldn't have limited tries to begin with on something that's already a limited time event. So that's the I think that's my chat on events, how I feel on that one. So next thing, least favorite. So I guess I kind of have to talk. I think I already mentioned that one. So I say you have to at least choose someone from every class and every book to level up because of the events in this game. So keep that in mind. I'm going to just reiterate the fact you cannot just stick with one racer and level them up like crazy and think that you can carry yourself through the game. It's not designed that way. Even going through rank, like you can rank up that one player, but you won't get as many rank rewards because every racer can go through rank from 0 to whatever and get rank rewards. So if you're only doing one, you're missing out on all the other rewards. So you have to rank up other people, and you have to level up other people. So like maybe it's a challenge that says you have to compete with Mickey and Friends because it loves doing Mickey and Friends, but you only leveled up, let's say, Monster Inc. Mike Wazowski. Well, then you can't use him to win the other events because he doesn't meet the criteria. And maybe it's an item that you need for Mike. Well, then you're just out of luck because you didn't level anybody else up. Which happened with Baloo because I had to level up someone from Monsters Incorporated to win a Baloo event, which I thought was dumb. Especially Mike was level 18 and the recommended level was 22. So I was not anywhere near winning that thing. The highest I ever got was 3rd, and that was on the best possible scenario. And I just couldn't win it. It was a event where the only item you got were the mine bombs, so that's why I couldn't use doors to stay ahead. It was super chaotic. computers were always around me throwing bombs and stopping me, so I could never win. And then when I finally got into level 22, I won it on my first try, but barely. Very much barely. It was still chaotic, but I was able to at least keep up enough to pull out the win at the last second, which kind of goes back to the whole AI kind of deciding if they want to let you win or not at the last minute. But yeah, you have to use other racers. That's how the game is designed. It's not going to let you go through with just one person. So a more positive note, and this will be what I'll end on. My favorite stage and least favorite stage, my favorite music, my least favorite music. So my least favorite stage by far is anything from Bell's World. I do not like any of their stages. I guess Pirates of the Caribbean would be close as far as least favorite. I don't like theirs really either, but definitely Bell's. Don't hate their music. Their music is fine. I love pretty much, I guess it kind of skips to least favorite music. I can't do that. There's no music in this game that I hate. There's like, I would be hard pressed to pick the least favorite because there's none of them that really stick out to me. It's like, I don't really care for this song. All of them are good to me. So even like the menu music is good to me. It's been so long since I played a game where I don't mind sitting in the menu and just listening to the music. That hasn't happened since Need for Speed Underground Racing League on the GameCube. That was the last time I can recall actually enjoying the menu music, and that's because that one was actual music. Pretty sure that was not music designed specifically for Need for Speed. I could be wrong, but yeah, it was actual lyrical music that they just put in their game. But that still, that doesn't disprove my point. It was music that I wouldn't mind listening to in the menu. My favorite stage, definitely Toon World. It's fun. Toon World is fun. Second favorite would probably be Silver Screen because it's so easy to kind of just boost through it. And I like the jumping spring part of that one too. You would think it would be Jungle Book stage, but I don't really care for the ancient jungle thing. Favorite music though goes to Jungle Book. Trust in Me is my favorite. There's two versions of it. I don't know which version it is that I like the most, but whichever one that I guess it kind of has techno with it. Not really techno. What is it? What would you call it? It's not symphonic. I don't know what you call that, but it mostly kind of lets the music do the talking, and Trust in Me is just kind of in the background. There's another version where Trust in Me is kind of the forefront of the music, but I like the one where Trust in Me in the background it really elevates the music in my opinion. And of course, Bare Necessities is really good too, but Trust in Me just is better to me. So Bare Necessity would be number 2, and then number 3 would be Toon World. There's almost all of them I like actually. And then Hercules is also up there, so that there might be top at number 3. But Jungle Book, the top 2, definitely Trust in Me and Bare Necessities. And then, Mulan is good too. It's hard to pick I got the top favorites. So the top favorites are like the Jungle Book. Everything after that though, they're all kind of tied. Even Monsters Inc. is pretty good. Pirates of the Caribbean, I don't even care for Pirates of the Caribbean, and the music is good too. I don't know any of the Mickey stages, so I don't know what's their unique spin. Toon World actually might know that has to be Disney, right? Walt Disney that has to be on part there. So yeah, all the music in the game is good. And I think that's pretty much all the points I have to make. So I'm pretty sure my recording was only going to 36 minutes and my talking is 35 minutes. So I guess I lined that up pretty well. So yeah, like I said, final thoughts on the game, or I guess secondary thoughts, not really final thoughts, because I won't give my final thoughts until the game is out and they patched everything out that they're going to patch out for the release. I'm pretty sure they'll keep patching it as the game continues after release. So yeah, definitely worth getting. My suggestion, as I said, to get it now so you aren't too far behind when the game releases. I know it's like $40 to do it, but you at least start off with some stuff, so that helps you out a good bit. And the music is still definitely the highlight of the game. The AI is infuriating to deal with, so that's something to keep in mind. I'm still not a fan of the blocky, plasticky toy models that they have for the game, but if that's what they wanted to go with. I would prefer it if they had gone with a more different type of stylized look as opposed to the toy look, but they do them. So the game is fine, still no issues with it aside from the bugs that they need to patch out that I mentioned earlier, and voice acting has to grow on you. And I don't like the event timer, limited time event tries. So those are my issues with it, but the highlights far exceed the issues that I have with it so far. So if you want to get the game, definitely get it. But keep in mind that you will have to play it daily because it is following that dying game trend of logging in daily to get your rewards and other things. And if you stop playing, well, then you're going to send yourself all the way far back. It's not a game you can play super casually. You can kind of log in and play it every so often, but you have to play it pretty dedicatedly to stay relevant. Make sure you hit all the events and complete all the stuff and level up all the races that you need to do the other events. So there's that issue. If you want to play it super casually, probably not for you, but it is a banger of a time with the music. So if you want to play it super casually, don't buy it, wait till it's free. But if you want to play it and stay invested in it, definitely go ahead and get it now so you aren't too far behind. But I think that's all the points that I need to make for this game, so thank you everybody for listening. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video. Told you I was going to be more frequent with these things. Take care.